How's it going, folks? Today I'm going to try to fix this KitchenAid mixer. Jesse said it has stopped working. I don't know anything about it, so let's plug it in and see. Oh, don't grab it there. Oh, that's heavy. Let's plug it in here quick and see. Okay, so it just doesn't do anything. Nothing at all. All right. Ugh. Well, how do we, first of all, can I secure that somehow? Oh, okay. It's neat. Oh. All right. How do we get into this thing? There's a screw. Yep, that's a screw. All right, I don't think there's anything. I think all the important bits are up here, so. All right, that was cool. Now that's off. Some more screws. Jesse loves this mixer. The unfortunate thing about this new old house we bought is the kitchen cabinets are too low, so you can't set this on the countertop and push it in underneath the cupboards. So we always have to run this back downstairs when we're done using it. It's neat too. I know that you can get attachments for it out front. You can put a grinder, like a meat grinder attachment on it. I don't know much more about it than that, but something's still holding it. What is holding this on there? Oh, just me, I guess. Okay. Wow, this looks a lot smarter than I thought it would. Okay, so first visual inspection. There's a little circuit board here, and I'm not seeing anything burnt out or corroded. All looks solid. So, see this guy. So let's get out the multimeter and we'll just test for power. Okay, so that's plugged in. Looks like the power runs straight up into here. Yep, we'll go with that. Nothing getting there. Okay, I'm not convinced these are running to the motor. So that must be after the switch. Yeah, I can't see what I'm doing. We're gonna have to take this farther apart. Okay, let's do that. Just checking so far. Yeah, so far all these screws are the same, just so I remember. Except that very first one that held this thing on. Okay. I should unplug this while we're doing that. Get a better look at this now that we're in here. I don't see anything wrong yet. Okay, I'm gonna have to get this motor off. It looks like this comes off. We have to get this piece off, and then the rest of the motor can come. And it's well lubricated. Okay. Now that should be able to come up. Whenever you see a circuit board, things start to look complicated, but really it's a motor. It's not that big of a thing. So I am still confident we can fix this. Okay. Well, come on. Get out of there. Okay. Well, now that I can see better, now we know exactly which leads to test. I was definitely on the wrong ones. So let me plug it back in. Yep. It's getting good power to that point. Test it to ground. Yep, same thing. And then this is, how is this in there? In there like that. Just say what? Yeah. Okay, so all the way back is off, and anything forward is on. I'm going to take a minute and study this board. Figure out. Oh. That's it. That's it, you guys. Fonzie. Okay. Well, why did that just come back to life? So we got to figure out now. See, at this point, we could just put it back together and call it good. But going a little deeper here is the difference between getting it going and keeping it going. We don't want this to fail again. What was it? Wow. That is a powerful thing. Well, I'll unplug it again. I suppose I'll just. Here's a little tip, by the way. If you're doing this yourself, remember, even if the power is unplugged, you can still get shocked. I'm seeing this isn't a huge capacitor, but it's a capacitor right there, and that's just a little battery. So those can store some power still for a little bit. So you got to be careful. It's probably not enough to really hurt you that would be stored in there, but it's enough to fry something in this board. So if you touch the wrong thing to the wrong thing, you can really have a bad day. So I'm still going to be extra careful, even though it's unplugged. But I really want to find out what happened here. At the very least, even if we don't see anything wrong, we can at least put some dielectric grease or contact cleaner or something on all of these. Just take them out, put some grease on them, and reseat them. That might be enough all on its own. But what is the trick to getting these up? They look like they just slip on and off, but so this is kind of dirty. I don't know what this dust is. Flour. This thing has been heavily used. Let's crack this open quick. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm looking at the traces on the circuit board here. So I'll make it closer to the camera. So all these little lines, those are the traces. They're essentially cables. So it's connecting one part of the circuit board to another. So all those little traces, you can just trace that line from what it's touching inside here, which that's going to be hard to see, but there's like a strip of metal inside there. It's like partitioned out, so there's a bunch of slots where, you know, this is able to stop at each one and make a connection from one piece of metal in there to the other. And then once that connection is made, the current is able to go into one of these traces here, and it's just a cable connecting that to one of these points, one of these solder connections. So so I can see here that at the very end, it is then connected to the topmost, and on this end is connected to the bottommost over here. So these have something to do with the speed of the motor. So if I turn that around, we're looking at this right here. They're all connected to this thing. And what this is an integrated circuit. That's what that's called. And so what happens inside there, I have no idea. It's specific to whatever part number that is. But in any case, it routes signal to a certain to a certain amount of resistors and capacitors and things. And what the whole thing is doing is converting the AC current from the wall to a DC current at a certain resistance to control the amperage into the motor for speed. The motor needs a DC current, and the whatever resistance you put on this is going to alter the amount of amps that the motor gets, and therefore the speed. Anyway, we don't care about any of that because it's working currently, and I don't see anything wrong. So I don't know. I've said it before. Sometimes you take things apart, put them back together, and they just work. And this is one of those times, I guess, if I can remember where all these things go. So let's put it back together and see if I'm right, I guess. Well, there you have it. Check it again once more, but no reason it shouldn't just pop right on. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Seems to work great. So obviously there just must have been a loose connection in there. Something didn't want to sit quite right. So I think this is some dielectric grease. You can pick this up at any auto parts store. I just put this inside each connector to help make sure that it maintains a good connection from now on. So if any flour, dust, whatever gets in there, it's not gonna it's less likely to affect it. I was careful though to wipe off any excess of this because I also don't want this completing a circuit where it shouldn't be and shorting something out. So I gotta say too, the moral of this story is try, just attempt a fix. We didn't need any special knowledge in this case about anything. I mean, I was able to kind of look at some stuff a little more in depth, but none of that was needed in this case. We literally just wiggled the connection and it came back to life. So this is an expensive mixer. I don't know what they actually go for, but I know it's a very nice, expensive mixer that a lot of people would have thrown away or bought get themselves a replacement. See what you can do. If it's already broken, it's going to be hard to make it worse. So thanks for watching. Let's go make some cupcakes.